wasn't screen sharing.
Oh, really? Okay, let me see what happened. Hold on. Make co-host. Okay, Mataji. Now you should be able to share. Okay. So we are ready, right? So I'll start the recording.
Can we start?
Or you want to wait for a couple of minutes? What do you feel?
Is my audio clear?
It's very low. Oh, wait. Speak again.
Is it okay now?
Yes, it's good. It's good. It's good. Okay. Yeah, we have some people joining, so we'll probably wait for a minute and then we can start.
Okay.
Okay.
So we can start?
Yes, I'm going to start record.
Okay.
Yes, Mataji, you can start. So before Mataji takes over, I just want to announce that this is the introduction to Bhagavad Gita for adults, and it is an 8-week course, and we are on session 5. So we have seen various aspects of the Bhagavad Gita. We had an introduction to what Bhagavad Gita is, and then we also looked at the summary of the different chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. And today we are going to dive a little deeper into the Bhagavad Gita and try to understand individual concepts like Bhagavan, Ishvara, Prakriti, Kala, Karma, Jiva, all of that. So today Mataji will be talking about Bhagavan concept from different verses in the Bhagavad Gita. So to be a very interesting session, I welcome everyone again to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. Mataji, you can take over. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mataji, for giving me this very wonderful opportunity. So let's begin with prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscham He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pachatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkripa tamaham mande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. So welcome to session 5. We took a break last week because it was Sri Krishna Janmashtami. So in the last 4 sessions, we had covered a kind of introduction of Bhagavad Gita. What are the 5 topics and what Bhagavad Gita is, and generally what people think Bhagavad Gita is, but it is not. And then also an overview of all the 18 chapters, how it is flowing, what is the questions that Arjuna is asking, how Krishna answered them. So now into session 5, we are going to go to see the topic of Bhagavan. So Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavad means of God, Gita is song. So definitely there is information about God or Bhagavan in Bhagavad Gita, a lot and lots and lots of information. So generally, this is God is like an unknown territory. There is nobody patenting anything. Everybody is free to do anything they want, and they are misusing the ignorance of the people in Kali Yuga to properly identify who God is. So basically, everybody is in misery, no doubt. When in misery, we think that why me? But then rest assured, Krishna has said that this world is designed to bring misery to everyone, not only to us. No doubt about that, that everyone is suffering in some way or the other in this world. We are all in the same boat. So trying to find out a quick fix remedy of their misery, people want to go, and whoever gives that solution, a temporary solution, they become their God. And then it continues like that, or they hop from one god to another. It is such an industry and such a, I don't want to say much. If you just go into YouTube, and you can say that, especially in India, every state has so many people claiming to be God. So it's very, very, very important for us to understand about the science of God from Bhagavan himself, from the authorized book of Bhagavad Gita. So here we are just trying to give a basic introduction with few verses. So Bhagavan, Dhanavan, one who has Dhana is Dhanavan, means one wealthy. One who has Putra or children is called Putravan, and one who is Bhagya or fortunate is called Bhagyavan. So Bhagavan means one who has Bhagas. Bhaga or Ish or opulences. So this is from chapter 2, text I think 11, in from Bhagavad Gita, the purport. So Bhagavan is a Sanskrit word that was explained by Parasara Muni, who is the father of Vedavyas. So he is defining who can be called as Bhagavan. One who possesses these 6 qualities in unlimited quantities at all times. So what are the 6 qualities? All riches. He's a completely the most wealthiest person who's owning all riches. All strength. He's never overcome. Nobody can claim that they have more strength than him. All fame. So he's completely famous throughout. You can see God, no matter what name he's called. He's famous throughout, not only in the human society. If at all we, our Panchatantra stories, if you see, it is filled with animals talking, because basically animals were talking in Satya Yuga. So these stories are handed down over generations. So even in animal society, in bird society, in tree society also, everybody, there is an awareness of God in some form or the other, because basically we are all connected to God as his part and parcel. So that way he's famous, all famous. Then all beauty. So we will cover that, how he's all beautiful. He never gets gray hair or wrinkles on the faces, and his beauty never vanishes. He's always Nava Yavanam. And all knowledge. There is nothing that he doesn't know. And in spite of having all these qualities in unlimited quantities at all times, he's not bereft of them at any times. All riches, all strength, all fame, all beauty, all knowledge. but still he is all renounced. He is completely a renounced person, completely detached from whatever his opulences are. And such a personality is called Bhagavan. Throughout history, in the human society and also in the
Uh,
society of controllers, demigods,
Mataji, sorry to disturb you, but the slides are not moving. You may want to do enable editing, run it on full screen. Click on enable editing on top.
did we get the first
No,
slide?
wait. No. Only the first slide, introduction to the Bhagavad Gita session 5 is on.
Oh, okay. So, what do I do?
Enable editing on top. You have this enable editing on top.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Once you click on that, once more, Mataji, click on it once more. Yes. Okay, now you have to share screen again because it
Okay.
will drop share screen. So share screen again and then run it on full screen.
Okay.
Perfect.
It's going okay. So we were discussing about how he is having all the qualities in unlimited quantities, but still he's completely renounced person. So these qualities, there will be many people here also. I mean, if you think about it, we are attracted to someone because of these qualities. There are so many people in this world who have permutation combination of these qualities. The richest person may not be all knowledgeable, or the most beautiful may not be known, he may have no fame. The person who's having all strength, is the most powerful, will not be beauty looking, or will not have all riches. So we can see that there are many people who can claim that I am this and I am that, but you can see that it's all um, there's no one person who can claim that I have all this at all times. And Krishna can claim that because he's a supreme personality of Godhead. So the very how it is, so we will see. So if you see Bhagavad Gita by Srila Prabhupada, he never mentions God as God. God is a very impersonal term. People give that he's God's G is for generator, O is for operator, and D is for destroyer, as though he has nothing else. He has a button just to generate, operate, and destroy. I mean that's okay, but that's not the real knowledge about God. Srila Prabhupada has said that many people may know that God is great, but it's good. We have to know how God is great. So this word, the supreme personality of Godhead, explains it's like a is equivalent of Bhagavan, because ultimately he's supreme, and he's not impersonal. He is a personality, and he's supreme personality of whom? Of Godhead. Like fountainhead we have, and from the fountainhead we see so many fountains are arranged. Some are little, some are going to more heights, and some in between, so it looks beautiful. So similarly, like in the government of gods, there are so many people who are controllers, who are invested with partial potencies of God, but he is the supreme personality and the source of all of them. Just like in a government, there is one department and there is a minister who heads that, and there are so many people around under him, and they have various vested powers. But the minister himself reports to the prime minister or president, and he is the head of the government. Similarly, Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead who has all these six opulences in unlimited quantity at all times. So, more information in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada says, what is absolute truth? Truth we know. Okay, what do you mean by absolute truth? The truth that never changes with time. The truth that is not relative. Like 10 years before, uh, 10 years before, it was not truth that I am a woman. say 20 years before, I was a girl. At that time, it is true. It was true. That time that was true. But then now the truth is relative. Okay, I have grown up. Now, after 20 years, old age comes. Then I'm an old woman. So anything that's related to us is relative. Something that changes with time, something that changes with circumstances is called relative. But the absolute truth means we have learned in science absolute axioms. And so absolute truth means that which doesn't change at all. So absolute truth, this sloka from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, Text 11, it says, Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yajnanam advayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavan iti shabdyate. So there are three phases of the absolute truth. They are expressed. First one is Brahman. Brahman means one who is not affected by the three modes of material nature, and one who's present everywhere. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahman. He's called the impersonal. He's not a person. The impersonal aspect of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the all-pervasive aspect also. So the second one is Paramatma. So we are Atma, or the spirit soul, and he is a localized aspect of the Supreme. Supreme is not only present everywhere, but he is present within me also, in my heart, very close to me, and he's called, I am Atma, and he's called Paramatma. So not only in the hearts of human beings, but in the hearts of all living entities. Then the third phase is Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is a personal form of the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada gives an analogy here, comparing the sunshine, the sun disk, and the sun planet. So in the morning when we open the blinds, we say that let some sun come in. Is that apartment, does it have sunlight? Does it have sun coming in? So basically what is coming in is the sunshine. But the sun is not there. Still we say it as sun. Because sunshine is the energy of the sun. So sunshine, through the rays of the sun is present everywhere. That's how he enters everywhere. So that's why so sunshine, the study of the sunshine is called the study of the Brahman. Sun is in one place. We can see the sun up in the sky. But sunshine is all over, all pervading. Then Paramatma is compared to the sun disk. So normally when we do the Surya Namaskar or something, we are taught how to see the sun disk. It is one of the forms of worship that is mentioned in many different cultures, also in different ways. So knowing the sun disk is little more knowledge. Suppose I study only the sunshine, I can study some aspect of the sun. But if I'm able to reach to the sun disk, suppose I'm able to reach to the sun disk, then that is even more information. I get not just the sunshine, but something more than that. That is considered to be the study of Paramatma. And if I'm able to enter the sun planet, then that is considered to be the study of Bhagavan, or the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we may wonder, what is the question of entering the sun planet? But according to the Vedas, there is a sun planet, and it is a fiery planet where the inhabitants of the sun planets their bodies are made of fire. In fact, I heard in a lecture that their bodies are illuminating so much light, and that is why the sunshine is, that planet itself is illuminating so much light, and that sunshine is able to reach so much here. So it is not true that, in fire, of course, in our earth, the constitution of the body that we are made up of, everything burns in fire. But they have found out that some kind of bacteria is still there in fire. There are living entities who could exist in fire also. And the Vedas talk about the sun planet, and which is presided by a deity of the sun called Surya Narayana. That's why we see that Vayu is a presiding deity of air, Varuna is a presiding deity of water. So it is not just natural resources. They are there, they are there on their own without any person. The Vedic philosophy is so personal, and although we may not able to see them, it has been controlled. As much as the water department, we get the taxes, the electricity department, we don't see who's making the bill, who's doing everything, but still the bill comes. That means that everything is monitored, and everything is neatly and nicely organized. So even within us, in this world, we see that the natural resources have a distribution point. The electricity is made, the water is properly channelized inside. So all these things. So how can we say that when these natural resources are there, they are there on their own? So our personalized philosophy says that every natural resource, there is a controller behind, and the Surya Narayana is called the controller of the sun planet. And this is an example given. Another example given by Srila Prabhupada is like the arrival of a train. Suppose we are standing in the station, and then first what they hear in the olden days, that the sound of the train, and then the black smoke in the steam engines, it's coming. So first they see the smoke and the sound of the train. So that is, we can make out something is there, but nothing is seen there. And when the train comes a little closer, from distance we can see the train coming in like a snake. So that is like knowing the Lord's feature as Paramatma. But when the train comes and is stationed, and then we get inside the train compartment, then we can see, oh, there is a bogie, there is a driver, and there is a compartment. Then our knowledge of the train is complete. So first knowledge is that. The second, when we see the train, we attribute a kind of personality to it that is little more complete than the first level. And the third level, when we enter the train, there is nothing more to be known. So similarly, Bhagavan, Paramatma, and Bhagavan are the three aspects of the absolute truth. Bhagavan being the highest. Once we know Bhagavan, there is nothing else to be known. So we'll see how different shlokas in Bhagavad Gita, where this Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan concept of God is explained by Sri Krishna. So the first is chapter 9, text 4. Maya tadam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina matstani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvavastitaha. So by me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I'm not in them. So I am all pervading. He's telling Maya tadam idam sarvam jagat avyakta murtina. I'm not personally present. Like you don't see millions of Krishnas, but avyakta murtina, in an unmanifested form. So matstani sarva bhutani, every living being is present on me, but I am not in them. Meaning that, what is the meaning that he is not in us? He is in us as Paramatma, but we are not able to see. He is not so explicitly seen, because through his energies, through his unmanifested form, he is pervading the entire universe. And the example given is that of like a king. A king heads a government, and there are different manifestations of king's energy, or the different departments. Okay, each department is resting on king's energy and the king's power. Ultimately, they report to the king. So in that way, the king is present everywhere. Even here, if you go to the license office, to DMV, you see the photo of the president and the mayor, and you see that their power. Through their power, these government offices are running. So similarly, through energies, it is Krishna doesn't have to put. Krishna is not preoccupied by pervading this whole universe. Just by his sankalpa, by his energies, it's happening. He says one more thing: Yadyad vibhuti matsattvam Srimad urjitam evava. Whatever you see, splendorous manifestations in this world, Tattad evava gachatvam. Know for sure that mama tejamsa sambhavam. Mama teja amsha. Mama teja, my splendor. Amsha, it's only a spark of my splendor. Because of the spark of my splendor, all the beautiful and wondrous creations in this world are possible. I mean, not only in this world, in the whole universe. If you read from the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, how these universes are, and what is the description of each and every planet occupying different parts of the universes, we will be amazed at the organization, at how many mountains are present, how many rivers are present. Amazing, amazing. And he says that all this is possible just with the spark of my splendor. So if anyone claims to be God, please remember to check if they are all pervading. All pervading means I am here in this room, but I don't know what's happening behind that wall. What's happening? I don't know. So I'm not all pervading. But all pervading means all knowing. Everywhere he's present. And he knows everything that's happening. So that is one checkpoint. The second one is Paramatma, as we saw. Paramatma, the 400 form of the Lord, is always accompanying the Atma, life after life after life after life. So Krishna says, this is a famous shloka in the 15th chapter, 15th verse, Sarvasya Chaham Hridi Sannivishto. I am situated in everyone's heart. Sarvasya cha aham hridi. In the heart, I am situated. Sannivishto. Mattaha. From me. Smritir jnanam apohanam cha. Smritir is intelligence. No, remembrance. Jnanam is knowledge. Apohanam is forgetfulness. So all we are. And what else? Vedaischa sarvair aham eva vedyo. Of all the Vedas, what you have to know, I am to be known. Vedanta Krid, I am the compiler of the Vedanta, and Veda Vid, I am the knower of the Vedas. So this is coming in chapter 15, which is called Purushottama Yoga, where he is telling more knowledge about himself. So he is present in everyone's heart. So we all know that, even if we try hard to remember something, sometimes we forget. Sometimes we struggle. We don't want to remember some bad things, but we remember it. So remembrance and forgetfulness and knowledge is not in our hands. So where it is coming from? It is coming from Paramatma, who is situated in everyone's heart. And he is the one who's the goal of the Vedas. And he's the one who gave us the Vedas also. Because without him, we cannot know how to deal with this world. Why are we born here? What am I supposed to do? And not only that, nobody else knows the Vedas like him. He's perfect in everything. And in one more place, he's saying in chapter 18, text 61, we can see that these two shlokas are like kind of similar in telling about the situation of Paramatma. Ishvaraha sarva bhutanam hriddeshe. In the region of the heart. Who's present? In whose region? Sarva Bhutanam, of all living entities. Who's present? Ishvaraha. O Arjuna, Tishtati, he is present. Brahmayan Sarva Bhutani. He is directing the wandering of all the living entities, like how Yantra Rudani Mayaya. There is a yantra or the machine, and we are sitting in the machine. But then somebody is directing the machine, a remote control. We are sitting in the machine, and the machine is made up of material energy, but somebody else is, like in the remote control, they are, making it go here. So Krishna is telling, I am Paramatma. I am situated in everyone's heart, and I direct the wanderings of the living entities, and they are like as though seated on a machine made of material energy. What is a machine made of material energy? This body. And not only after this body, the next body is getting ready. And then with the help of the Paramatma, the Atma is transferred to the next body according to what he desires and what he deserves. So that is, and one more thing, what he does there, he upadrashta anumantacha bharta bhokta maheshwaraha. Upadrashta Anumanta. He oversees and he permits. Bharta, he is the owner. Bhokta, he is the enjoyer. Maheshwaraha, he is the ultimate controller. So that is Paramatma's role. And one more example given is that like two birds sitting in the branch of the same tree. One bird is engrossed in eating the fruits of the tree. Some fruits are bitter, some fruits are sweet, some fruits are bitter sweet. Then after one term of fruits are done, the bird goes to the next branch and then eats all the fruits there. Then it goes to the next branch. But there is another bird who's watching this bird, constantly accompanying this bird from one branch to another branch to another branch. So the eating bird is said to be the Atma. And what is its eating? Suffering and happiness, that is the phala of the karma. So the karma phala is in the form of the fruits, and the eating bird is keep on eating it. But the watching bird, Paramatma, is watching. The moment the eating bird turns the face towards Paramatma, then its journey back out of this tree of illusion of repeated birth and death takes place. But until that moment, this Paramatma bird is always coming with the Atma bird. So that's why many people we say that, something told me that, I thought so. There was an intuition. Or here this, suddenly it came upon my thought. Archimedes said that, Eureka, I found out. No, is everything coming from Paramatma within the heart. And whether good or bad, what we have to enjoy or suffer, he's direct to us that place. We can see that our lives, we don't have any control. We may want to live in a place, but we are forced to move. We may want to move, but we are forced to live in a place. So basically, Bhagavad Gita is giving us eyes to see beyond what is seen, so that we learn the science. So the third one is Bhagavan. And so one may, if we think that he's present everywhere as Brahman, and he's present in everybody's heart as Paramatma, so he doesn't have a personal form. It's not like that. He has a personal form who can be seen face to face and who can be interacted like we interact with any other people in this world. So what are the shlokas that support this? So Krishna says in 11.52, Sri Bhagavan Vacha Durdarsham idam rupam drishtavan asiyan mama deva apyasya rupasya nityam darshana kankshinah. This form of mine you're now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form, which is so dear. And after what he showed this form, after that universal roller coaster he took Arjuna for, which seemed never ending, after showing his universal form of splendor, time and space in one place, and Arjuna was so horrified seeing that, and Arjuna is lost himself, and he forgot that he is Krishna. That's why Arjuna is asking, who are you? Please tell me, who are you? Then Krishna says, I am time and I have come here to destroy. Then Arjuna says, please let this be over. Then he showed his, please let me see your four-armed form of the Lord. Let me see your four-armed form. So from the universal form, which has many, many thousands of arms and bellies and thousands of legs and thousands of eyes, that is a description if you see over and over again in the 11th chapter. From that, Arjuna says, please show your four-armed form. After showing the four-armed form, then he came back to the two-armed, beautiful form holding a flute, human-like form. So that form, he says that even for demigods, it's very difficult to behold. So that is why here Srila Prabhupada says that if Krishna is like an ordinary human being, how is it possible for him to show the universal form and again to show the four-handed Narayana form? And he is the origin of both the four-handed Narayana form and the universal form. And that is why as Krishna, he was able to show all that. Not that the form of Krishna is subordinate to form of universal form. No. because he was Krishna and he showed the universal form and he was able to show back his four-armed and two-armed form. So this Krishna clearly says in so many places in Bhagavad Gita also, and this is one important aspect um, where he shows that he is a supreme personality of Godhead and he has a form. This is very, very basic understanding of Bhagavad Gita, and this is the basic platform based on which we can perform bhakti. If we are not able to understand that the Lord is a person, then there's no question of offering and he accepting. And also in Upanishad, he says he's running and he's not running. He is running very fast that the demigods are not able to catch him, but still he is in one place. He has no arms, but he accepts everything. He has no legs, but he runs fast. So we can see the contradictions there. And that shows that his form is not material like us. If we run, we can't walk. Our form is so limited, but Krishna's form is unlimited. So one example of what Krishna's form can do is that we find in the Brahma Samhita, Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti. Any of his senses can interchangeably perform the function of any other senses. Through eyes, he can see. Through ears, he can eat. So that means his body, although it looks like a human being, it's not flesh and blood, and it is not wired like how our body is wired based on our karma. And what is his form made of then? You might have heard this term so often in many readings and in the religious circles. It's called Satchidananda Vigraha. So Satchit Ananda Vigraha is made of Sat, Chit and Ananda, and he's a Vigraha. He's a supreme person, but his personality is made of three aspects. What is that? Sat is eternality, Chit is consciousness, Ananda is bliss. So Sat means, as we discussed, it is truth or eternality. My body changed. I lived, of course, before my birth, but do I remember what I was in my previous life? No. But can I know what I will be born in the next life? No. That is because I have a material body. So this shloka comes in the 4th chapter, and Krishna, in the beginning of the 4th chapter, he is giving a history of Bhagavad Gita. He is telling that I spoke this Bhagavad Gita some 2 million years ago to Vivaswan. So Arjuna immediately is asking, how am I to understand that you are my contemporary? Vivaswan is, 2 million years before us. He's sun god. Vivaswan is a name of sun god. So how am I to understand that you spoke this Bhagavad Gita to him? For that, Krishna is answering, many births both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot. Why? Because although Arjuna is a constant companion of the Lord, he is a liberated soul, but still he is not equal to God. His Krishna's body, he comes time and again in the same spiritual body. He doesn't change body. I don't remember in the previous life what happened because I don't have that body anymore. Similarly, if you try and dredge your memory to see what you were when you were 5 years old, when you're 10 years old, you may remember here and there. Now, of course, there are photographs. So when you see the photographs, you can remember. But basically, really instances very few here and there you'll remember. Similarly, if you ask a 70-year-old what happened in your 25-year-old, they can remember the key events, but not everything. But Krishna is not like that, because our body, even in this life, is changing from childhood to boyhood to youth. So there is forgetfulness. So similarly, in the previous life, what I forgot because I did not carry that body. But Krishna is remembering because He's coming in the same body, his Satchidananda Vigraha, which is made up of his internal energy. He's not under the control of the material nature. That means his body is Sat, is eternally true. And one more place, he's saying that Ajo apisan avyayatma, bhutanam ishwaro apisan, prakritim swam adhishtaya sambhavami atma mayaya. Although I am unborn, why he needn't take birth at all? Because he's not forced to be born by karma. It is his desire to come into this material world. And when he comes into this material world, his transcendental body never deteriorates. And although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. So Srila Prabhupada gives an example of a jailer, not a president visiting the jail to congratulate or to give some good words for them on Independence Day or other national holidays. And then there are jail inmates. We are all like inmates of the jail. But when Krishna comes inside that, he is like a president. He is coming in the jailer, the inmates, they see the president and they see that, there is an outside world. And so that there is a kind of he's giving a message that, you all rehabilitate, you all be good and you can be free like me. You can come. So, I mean, what happens is, we have become jailed so long ago, so many millions and millions and millions and millions of births that we don't even remember where we were before, how we were before. So Krishna comes inside to show a trailer. His pastimes are like a trailer, what it is in the spiritual world. And he keeps comparing this material world and this material body is like this. He says, Mamaiva amsho jiva loke, jiva bhutaha sanatanaha. You are also eternal like me. You are my amsha. But manaha sashtan indriyani, with mind and six senses, what you do? Prakritistani karshati. You're struggling in this, situated in this temporary material world. So, but he coming inside, he comes in his transcendental body, never deteriorates, means he doesn't grow beyond youth. He's always, Nava Yavvanam. And then he doesn't need to come. He's not bound to come, but still he comes. Why? Because he's the loving Lord of all living entities. He is our most well-wisher. And he wants us all to be situated in the atmosphere of eternity, and that's why he comes. Yeah. So another example is his appearance and disappearance are like the sun's rising, moving before us and then disappearing from our eyesight. But sun is there in one place. But then sun rises, sun sets. Similarly, Krishna's activities are like appearance and disappearance of the sun. After here, his activities, transcendental activities are continuing somewhere else. Like that way, like the sun keeps on illuminating in other parts of the universes. So the next is chit or cognizance. So what is it, cognizance? All knowing. There is nothing that he doesn't know. And what is the shloka for that? He says in the 7th chapter, Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. Oh Arjuna, as a supreme personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I know all living entities, but me, no one knows. And that is why in the 11th chapter, in the universal form, he was able to show what would happen in the future. How Drona and Jayadratha and Bhishma were meeting terrible death by, going into his huge mouth with their heads dashed against the teeth and blood flowing. That much Arjuna was able to see the future. He not only says this in the Bhagavad Gita, he shows this also. That I know what's going to happen in the future also. I know all living entities. He knows us perfectly well. How much goodness we have, how much passion we have, what we are. No one else in the world, even in our immediate family members, no one else knows us like how Krishna knows us. That's why he says that I knows all living entities, but unfortunately, we don't know him. Imagine if only you know, and then you are in touch with Krishna. He could say past, present, and future. I mean, great liberated souls are like that. They know, and they're not going to use it for material purpose. But that is the thing. If liberated souls can know past, present, and future, why not Krishna? So this is his chit potency or cognizance, and ananda or bliss. So how do we know that he's a form full of bliss? And our form is made of ignorance and is a source of misery. We all will agree that there is no one who can claim that I have got not any problem from my body, no headache, no stomachache, no fever. No one can claim that in this world. So our body is a source of, is temporary, and it is the dukkhalayam. It's a source of misery, but his body is a source of bliss. How do we know that? He gives a clue in Bhagavad Gita, Mam upetya punarjanma. After attaining me, dukkhalayam asashvatam. This is his definition of this world, dukkha alayam. And even if there is any happiness present, that is temporary. Napnuvanti mahatmanaha. Great souls will not come back to this material world, which has two stickers. What is a billing sticker? Dukkhalayam and asashvatam. Why they don't come? Because they have attained to me, the highest perfection. Samsiddhim paramam gataha. So attaining me is a highest perfection. Again, he says in 8.15 and 8.16, A Brahma Bhuvana Loka, right from Brahma Loka to Patala Loka, Punar Avartino Arjuna, again and again and again. Punar Avarti means again birth, death, old age, disease in one place and again in another place and again in another place. Wherever you go, there's no question of staying permanently because everything is a part of the material world. Material world itself is in constant flux. Mam upetyatu kaunteya. If you come to me, punar janma na vidyate. So he's always, from these, we can understand that his planet is fully blissful. So he is also completely blissful person. And we can see other shlokas in Bhagavad Gita also where he says that, he says, my opinion. So opinion itself means that he's a personality. And not only that, there are so many qualities, but primarily we need to know if somebody claims to be God, then these are what that they should have these qualities. So what is it? Equal to all, samoham sarva bhuteshu, name dveshyo asti na priyaha. There is no one who is very dear to me, nor is there anyone that I hate. E bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maite teshu chapyaham. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend to him. Look at his heart here. Basically, he says, I am equal to all. But then, if you render service to me in devotion, you are my friend. So what is he ultimately telling is, I am your friend, but you are not still my friend. So please become my friend so that I can become partial to you. So this is a very, very beautiful shloka in Bhagavad Gita. And his impartiality was shown. We are in 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and that starts with this question that how God can be partial to devas and always killing the demons. So how can he hate someone who hates him? Then he is not God. Then, Parikshit Maharaj is, Sukadeva Goswami is explaining the conversation between Yudhishthira and Narada Muni. Yudhishthira Maharaj has asked the same question, and Narada Muni is explaining with the history of Narsinghadev and Prahalad Maharaj, how Lord Narsimha is equal, and how, even the demons who are killed by him, they are given liberation. So why, if he hates him, why will he give them liberation? So there he is equal to all, and also he is infallible. No one here can claim that I have not made any mistakes. From terrible mistakes, small mistakes to terrible mistakes, big mistakes, medium mistakes, little medium mistakes, large mistakes, we keep on making. Okay, but then a good news is there is a world where there are souls who are infallible. Yes, Mark. And there are two worlds. One is Kshara or fallible, bound to make mistakes, and there is another world which is infallible, full of perfect beings. And he says, I am transcendental beyond both fallible and infallible. Because Yasmaksharam Atitoham, I am transcendental to those people who are fallible. Means there is no one mistake. You can say that, anywhere that, Krishna has done, I have done a mistake. No. Aksharat apichottamaha. Not only I am transcendental to the fallible, but also to the infallible. And because I am the greatest, Atosmi Loke Vedecha, of this world and the Vedas, both they are celebrated me as the Pratitaha Purushottamaha. That's why the 15th chapter is called Purushottama Yoga. Why anyone should celebrate Krishna as Purusha Uttama, the supreme person, because of all these qualities. Why? Because he's transcendental, he's beyond both fallible and infallible, and he's the greatest. He's giving reason. He's not boasting that I am the supreme and you're subordinate. And he's giving with reason and logic that how he's totally unfolding the mystery of the science of God. But at the same time, we can feel the love of the Lord in explaining these things to us through Arjuna. So let's recap. So we started with Bhagavan, the 6 qualities of Bhagavan, and how he's having all those in unlimited quantity. That is the number one litmus test. Second one is a person who is calling God should be all pervasive, and he should be the Paramatma in everyone's heart. And he should not only be that, he's a Bhagavan, the supreme personality of Godhead. See, some yogis, some siddhis can know what's going on in your mind. Because that's not a big thing. Like we have a gross body, we have a subtle body, and the subtle body makes a subtle aura. So I have seen many people who keep seeing the aura that's emanating from there, and then they decode and they say what's there in your mind or what was your past. Astrologers can do that. It's common, it's a science. If you go to Vaitishwaran Koil, a place in South India, they just, ask your fingerprint. Here, now only they have found out fingerprint is unique. But there, with just a fingerprint, all over the whole life comes from birth to death. So whatever our past till then will come, we can verify that, and then what is going to be our future also will come. So this is not the consideration that somebody has told me what I'm thinking in my mind, or he has told me what in the future my problem will be, or he has helped me to solve the problem. These are cheap things to become God. God is not somebody who's doing this. This can be done even by a low level siddha, a person who has some little mystic power, but his heart is not clean. Then he can do this to get prestige and respect and power and whatnot. I leave it to you. You can see that yourself. So he's explaining how he's present everywhere. Everything is resting on me. One more shloka. There's no place to add. Mattaha parataram nanyat kinjidasti dhananjaya mai sarvam idam protam sutre manigana iva. Just like in a necklace. Whenever I see a necklace, I remember this, the beaded necklace. So we see that he says that I am the thread that's holding the beads. If you pull the thread, there's no more necklace. So everything is resting on him in his power. And he is present as Paramatma in our heart, and he is giving us remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. And he is directing our wandering. We are just like on a machine. That machine is pre-programmed and somebody is under remote control. Then not only that, he is a supreme personality of Godhead also. He is a Saumya Vapu. Saumyam means beautiful. Rupam. And that is his two-handed form of the Lord. How that is the original form, and the four-handed Narayana and the universal form comes from that. And liberated souls engage in service in that two-handed form of the Lord. Like how we see here, Mataji has put nice background of Sri Rukmani Dwarkadish how he's beautiful. Krishna is known for his beauty and he likes to dress very well. And, he's all loving, and imagine being with him, serving him as one of his associates. So his body is Satchidananda Vigraha. He never changes, although he incarnates, he comes in the same spiritual body, and he knows that everything past, present, and future, and every living entity, and his world is full of bliss, and he's also a fully, Ananda, fully blissful person. And not only that, he's equal to all, and he is infallible. And there are much, much more. He's Bhoktaram Yajnatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram Suhridam Sarva Bhutanam. I am in everyone's heart and I am everyone's well-wisher. Although I am the supreme controller of all the Sarva Loka Maheshwaram and of all that beings. And again in he says that Name Vidu Suraganaha Prabhavamna Maharshayaha. Name Vidu Suraganaha. Neither the demigods nor the great sages know my origin and opulence. Why? Aham Adirhi Devanam. I am the origin of Devas. Maharshinam cha Sarvashaha. Even the great sages. So I am their origin. How come they can know me incomplete? So this is again shloka. So this is a science of God. So knowing these concepts, we can go in depth in Bhagavad Gita. There are so many, so many shlokas and so many concepts. We are just able to, injustice, I should say, but just, overview of the overview multiple times, giving us a broad overview. At least with this knowledge of God, we don't mistake anybody else claiming to be God. Okay, thank you all very much for listening. Thanks to Srila Prabhupada, who has given this knowledge so nicely and perfectly, and thanks to all the spiritual masters who are explaining this. Srila Prabhupada ji, Jai, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Lalitangi Mataji. That was such a beautiful session. Definitely a lot of clarity on who is God, because that's the first thing that we all look forward to understand when we open any spiritual book. Bhagavad Gita, being our chief resource, has very clearly established this from beginning to end. And thank you for picking out so many verses and explaining them in grand detail. Thank you so much, Mataji. We are very indebted to you. So any of you have any questions or you want to understand anything further, you can go ahead and ask Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. I mean, without you, this is not possible. So many nice slides and very nice pictures, and thanks to you. You are the backbone behind this.
Jai Shri Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandat Pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you, Mataji. It's wonderfully put in place, like, even the related slokas and each and every word meaning, including with the slokas, it is very wonderfully presented, Mataji. Thank you very much. One clarification or maybe a little bit of extension I wanted to understand, Mataji, on the Brahman part of the Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. Paramatma, we understand, is a super soul sitting in our heart and also giving all the intelligence and all that. And Bhagavan is obviously transcendental and he's the supreme personality of Godhead. But when we talk about Brahman, you gave the sunshine of example, but would little bit elaborate on that part, like how to understand the Brahman part of it, Mataji, if you can just.
Yeah, there are many verses, but we picked the verse called Maya Tadam Idam Sarvam, which is chapter 9. So that means he's completely under control and he's present everywhere. He's like, for example, I am present in this body, and and somebody else, I don't see someone, but I have my presence throughout this body. So if anybody taps me from behind or any bug bites me, I have that feeling, that awareness, because I'm present, I'm pervading in this body, but I'm not pervading in the other bodies. So I can only sympathize with the pain and pleasure, but I can't feel the pain and pleasure. But whatever is pain and pleasure, this body undergoes because I am pervading. I am Atma. I am minute in size, but I am pervading, and so I am aware. So similarly, Krishna is pervading all this universe. Just like I am aware of my body, he is aware of everything that's going on in this Maya Tadam Idam Sarvam Jagat Avyakta Murtina. Jagat, the total material manifestation, is present. That's why he is completely under control, and that is his impersonal form of the Lord. I mean, he is not present in his personal form, but he is present as energy, like how sunshine is present throughout the world. Throughout the world, that part of the world, the sunshine is present. So that's all pervading. Similarly, Krishna is all pervading by his two energies, material and spiritual, and that's why he's completely under control. And although he's pervading, he's not under the laws of material nature, but he's the Lord of the laws of nature. So one example for this we can say is Narshingadev's appearance. So Prahalad could see Narshingadev present everywhere. So that's why when Hiranyakashipu asked, where is your Lord? He said, my Lord is everywhere. Is he in the pillar? Yes, he is in the pillar. And he came out of the pillar. Why? He's present there in the pillar. If he had shown something else, he would have come out from that also. So how is he able to come out in his personal form somewhere? So he's, present in his impersonal form through his energies everywhere. And the students that study this impersonal aspect of the Lord are called Brahmavadis. And in other place he says, I think in 11th chapter, Brahmanohi pratishtaham amrita savyayasya cha sashvatasya cha dharmasya sukasyai kantikasya cha. I am the basis of this Brahman. Krishna is telling to Arjuna, I, the Bhagavan, the Brahman is resting on me. So this is the aspect of Brahman, Prabhuji. I just repeated whatever I know. If there is
Thank you very much, Mataji. With the example of Prahlad Maharaj Narsingh there, that clearly, exemplifies like what exactly is Brahma. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Yeah,
Hare Krishna.
thank you, Prabhuji. Throughout Bhagavad Gita, especially 12th chapter, if you read 1 to 5 shlokas, that is like comparing the impersonal form and the personal form of worship, and then which is better, Krishna is telling. So if you go through the purports, like little bit more information is there.
Sure, 12th chapter 1 to 5, Mataji.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Actually, I have a question. Can I ask?
Yes, Mataji, I'll try.
No. It was something nice, and it was a new realization for me as you were talking about the pervasiveness of Brahman, and Brahman pervades everything, right? But why then the impersonalists, they are more focused towards attaining that light, like impersonal Brahma Jyoti that is there beyond the universe? Like, how would that differ from the actual? I don't know. I don't know if I'm getting the concept right.
Yeah, Brahma Jyoti is the source of Brahman here. So they want to get to the source. Although Brahman is present here, but when the Brahmavadis or impersonalists are present here, they are not able to relish that Brahman or have that Sayujya Mukti here, because here everything keeps changing. So they have to give up the body. They are under the material modes of nature. So even they are liberated souls, they want to perfect and go to that place where they can, which is a source of Brahma Jyoti, is a source of Brahman here. And so they get to that source to have the life of eternity beyond the suffering of birth, death, old age, and disease.
Very wonderful, very interesting concept, Mataji. It was actually when you were talking only, it was revealed. I mean, I didn't think about it so hard. So I always thought it as a distant light, but the concept of the all-pervading nature, even here, everywhere, that was a very interesting revelation. Thank you so much for that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Maybe I'm myself coming from that background, maybe for so many lives. So you are all in a very high devotional platform.
Oh no, not at all.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Okay, please go.
Go ahead, Vrinda Gopi.
No, Mataji, it's Lakshmi, but I'll ask later. You go on, Mataji, please.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Lalitangi Gopi, Koti Koti Danvat Pranam, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Mataji, feel that sitting in Shri Radha Gopinath and senior brahmacharis given a class and so much potency in your class because Vilasini Gopi, Sita Priya Gopi, Sita Priti Gopi or Lalitangi Dasi or Vrinda's mother or Radhika Mataji, your sadhana is so strong, your reading is so strong, Mataji. It's touched too hard. Feel so happy. Same thing hearing from year to year, but every time learning, Mataji, like a small kid start to crawling and then stand up. Mataji, we are in that stage to hold your sari and then we learn Shishi Bhagavatam, Shishi Bhagavad Gita and Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Koti Koti Danvat Pranam. So nicely explained. Your presentation is like one by one step, Mataji. It's clear so many things, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Srila Prabhupada, Srila Gurudev Ki Jai. Danvat Pranam to your sincere seva.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I don't know what to say. Just by looking at the prasadam that you make and that is shared in the Jagannath kitchen, anybody will get liberated. You're such a nice devotee, and I'm so humbled. I'm really crawling stage, and I have to see and know what is bhakti from all of you.
No, Mataji.
But
No,
I learn from you, your humility and
Radha is given only one seva, cooking and singing.
wonderful
Thank you,
Mataji.
Mataji.
That's the real seva. Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you, Radhe. Danvat.
Anyone else has any questions or anything you would like to ask Mataji about the Bhagavad Gita or today's presentation?
Hare Krishna Mataji, Danvat Pranam. Wonderful,
Hare Krishna.
wonderful presentation, Mataji. It's so nice to see you also. So Mataji, I don't know, like maybe of like Srila Prabhupada says that we have to be away from the Mayavadis and the Brahmavadis, right? Like fortunately, I have not met any, so I do not know how they look like or what they talk like. But then, how would you differentiate between them? Because see, the philosophy at some point till some point is same, okay, and then somewhere it divides. Because I remember when in our like Bhakti Vriksha also till Bhagavad Gita was there, we had some people in it, and when Srimad Bhagavatam started, then some people they quit. I did not know the reason, but I know that there is something which they do not agree with. So, what is like? Why do they not consider Krishna as a form? Like, is there anything in their scriptures which tells them that?
Yeah, basically, Srila Prabhupada tells many reasons that accepting the personality of Godhead means that accepting the supremacy of the Lord and our position as subordinate to the Lord and serving the Lord. So that is bhakti. But then that is simple, but it is so complex because this tendency to become the Lord is so strongly deep rooted in our hearts. That's why we are here for life after life after life after life, because we want to be the center and we want to be the Lord. Even if we are serving the Lord, we want to become one with the Lord, but we don't want to serve Him in subordination. So that is kind of generally people are like that here. That is why Srila Prabhupada's purports fully tell that, because everybody's heart has that covered envy of the Lord, which may not be very prominent, which will not be explicit, but it is there. And that has to go completely. So that is why repeatedly Prabhupada is saying this again and again. You are subordinate and he is the supreme. You are qualitatively equal but not quantitatively equal. Your position is a servant of the Lord. So where that branching comes, that if we are not able to accept this, then then they can accept that God, this body is temporary, Atma is there, and Brahman is there, and I want to become one with the Brahman, and that's it. And I want to merge into God, become one particle of God, and enjoy like God, basically. So that's a deep-rooted tendency, and that tendency is cut by the concept of devotional service. So till that point of accepting the personality of Godhead, all the both impersonalists and personalists are called transcendentalists. From there, they divert. Basically, everybody is an impersonalist until we get the mercy of a personalist, like we see in the aspect of Sukadeva Goswami. Although he performed the pastime, I think one Maharaj answered this. I was asking this question, how he can be an impersonalist, and then he heard about Bhagavatam. So he is telling the concept of without the mercy of a personalist, Bhagavata, Mahabhagavata, a servant of the Lord, a devotee of the Lord, we cannot become the devotee of the Lord. That is why he says that it's very rare. What does he say? Manushyanam sahasreshu kaschid yatati siddhaye yatatam api siddhanam kaschinmam veti tatvataha. Out of thousands of one in thousands, and like that way thousands collected, that one in thousands, only one knows me in truth. So Srila Prabhupada has given us that opportunity, and slowly, by constantly reading this and taking that removing the stones from the rice, we and the other thing from the rice we cook, first we wash the rice, like that way, by constantly reading and constantly associating and serving the Lord, this impersonalist tendency gets washed away, and our original nature of the as a servant of the Lord comes up. Because what is wrong in impersonalist liberation, when Lord himself has allowed that, right? It is a part of Lord. Krishna is impersonal, he is Brahman, and Sayuja is a form of liberation. What is wrong? The problem there is, it is the bliss that is compared in the service of the Lord is like an ocean, whereas the bliss that is in merging with the Brahman of the Lord is like a drop. But when that Brahmananda, the bliss, is a ocean compared to the materialistic happiness. All the materialistic happiness put together is considered to be a drop when compared to the ocean of merging into the Lord. And that bliss, that is also not eternal, because the bliss is missing there because of the lack of service and reciprocation and relationships. So Srila Prabhupada says that for want of that, aruhya krichrena padam padam tat param padam tat, they fall down after achieving with great penances, achieving that param padam. From that they fall down because ye anye aravindaksha vimukta maninas, one who have turned their face away from the Aravindaksha, or the beautiful lotus face of the Lord, or in other sense, the service of the Lord. So I don't know if I answered your question. Basically, in Srila Prabhupada's Pranam Mantra, that's what, Nirvisesha Shunyavadi. All of us have these tendencies deep-rooted in the heart. And that is the tendency that's making us stay in this material world, go from life after life. So by Srila Prabhupada's mercy, Nirvishesha, that is Nirvishesha, there is no Vishesha, speciality to the Lord, and Shunyavadi, that everything is nothing in the end. Both concepts are, he won over it by his purports and the explanation of Bhakti Vedanta. Not bhakti as sentimentalist, but bhakti as the end of conclusive knowledge of the Vedas.
Jai Ho.
Perfect, Mataji. Perfect. Wonderful, Mataji. Thank you so much. The way you say the verses, Mataji, I hope someday I can at least get a drop of what you know.
Mataji,
The way you,
it's no way. The way you cook the items and the way you offer it to the Lord, it's like, hundreds and thousands of verses combined together as a garland. So all glories to you. I'm
no,
still
Mataji,
doing.
that is
Mataji,
acquired. That is acquired knowledge, and you have is an inherent knowledge. So it's a difference.
No.
Thank
Lalitangi
you,
Gopi,
Mataji.
with your permission, add one more point. Sita Priti Dasi is like sugar-coated pills that she is making little toys and craft item and
Right.
engage the kids, and then she is talking Krishna consciousness. So she is also one more big spiritual bomb.
Definitely. Very sweet. Like as she said, sugar coated. Very sweet. Thank you, Mataji. Lakshmi Mataji, you had a question?
Yes, Mataji, I have a question. Yeah, okay, Mataji. Mataji, very wonderful class, Mataji. It was so informative. Mataji, I have a question from the beginning, Mataji. When you mentioned Bhagavad Gita, you said it's Bhagavad of God and Gita is song. Mataji, whenever we talk about the conversation between two people, we don't name it as Gita song. It mean actually the Upanishads are also conversation between two people most of the time, and we say Bhagavatam. But why is this mentioned as song Gita? I don't understand it usually.
Yeah, you see, Mataji, it is a meter. it is told in a song form. And also, I don't know exactly what it is called. Maybe Hari Parshad Prabhu may tell us that how it is told in a poetic form. And some things are told explicit, like in a poem, many things are not explicitly told. When you read, you understand in between the lines. And also, when God speaks, it's like a song. It's so perfect. He doesn't need to endeavor to. When great devotees speak, they always speak like this. Even in Bhagavatam, of course, Bhagavatam, why it is not called song? Because it is a science of God. There are so many Gitas in there. This is like a preliminary Bhagavad Gita. It's between the conversation. And in Bhagavatam also we have Uddhava Gita. That conversation is also called Gita only. And what Lord Shiva talks to Prachetas, it's called Rudra Gita. What what's his name?
Aila Gita.
Aila Gita. Who says that? Urvashi. King. No. Yayati?
I forgot.
Yeah. I don't know. Somebody says about he goes to Urvashi's planet, and after that, I think Prabhu explained this. Gaurang Darshan Prabhu explained that after that, how he says, right, in what to say, disgusting tone about the nature of the materialistic enjoyment. He says so. Mostly, they're all called Gita Mataji throughout, but there are so many Gitas.
Yeah, Pururava and Urvashi. You're right. Aila
Pururava,
Gita Pururava and Urvashi.
Pururava and Urvashi, right? Yeah. So God is so perfect. Every word is a song, and also that it is told in a very uh, in a perfect poetic meter.
Oh, okay, Mataji. So many come under that category, right? So,
Yes.
and also like in a poetic form, there should be many hidden meanings, like deep, intense meanings, maybe.
Yeah, because he says examples like Apuryamana Machala Pratishtam, like how the rivers come and reach the ocean, but the ocean is not agitated. Similarly, a person who's self-realized, he doesn't get agitated by the desires that is coming to him. And some, at least here there is a comparison, many simile, like how you change, you give up your old clothes and change your new clothes. Similarly, the soul gives up the old body and gets a new body, and how the air carries the aroma from one place to another. Similarly, the soul and the subtle body carries impressions from one life to another. And if whatever the purpose that is solved by a well, it is solved by a lake. Means one who knows the purpose of Vedas, for him, everything else is automatically known. Like this,
Oh, okay.
so
Yes,
many
yes, Mataji.
examples, so many similes throughout, like in a poem he's saying.
Oh, okay, Mataji. That makes sense. Okay, Mataji. And you were mentioning that after showing the universal form, Arjuna asked Krishna, like, who are you? And at the time, Bhagavan replied, I'm time. I have come here to destroy. So actually, in Krishna Avatar, Bhagavan comes to give so much of leelas, and he also gives Gita. So many wonderful things. But why does God say about destroying? Like, I'm time, and I have come to destroy.
Yeah. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyaham. That is one of the things. Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam. Because there are sadhus and there are people who are dushkritas also. So he comes, he does two things. He paritranaya, he what to say, nourishes, he protects the sadhus, he gives life to them, and then he vanquishes the demons. Otherwise, till the Mahabharata war, he had vanquished himself. Right from his birth, he was killing Putana, Trinavrata, Agasura, all Kamsa's slaves. Then Kamsa, then Mathura, he killed Kalayavana and other people. Then in Dwaraka, Dantavakra, Shishupala, Shalva, so many other people. And then through Kurukshetra, when he come to Kurukshetra, he is doing it through the Pandavas. Because that he is Palana, he is maintaining this world. Like you create something and you put it in order. And if somebody comes and disrupts, then, when you create something, then you come again to put it in order again. So if he didn't do that, if he didn't do the killing of the demons or vinashaya cha dushkritam, then what is the purpose of this existence will be nullified, right? The sadhus cannot flourish. So that's why he does that.
Oh, yes, Mataji. When you say only, I remember. So from the childhood, from he was born till the end, there was so much of killing of demons. Yeah, that makes sense. And Mataji, you also mentioned the basic understanding of Bhagavad Gita is that the Lord is a person. You mentioned that word. But Mataji, before Krishna also there was Vaman Avatar and Ram Avatar, Lord Ram, and they both also was person. And after Ram left the world, people used to pray to Ram, and they actually pray to him like a person only, because the Ram story, Ramayana, very. So why is it that you mentioned the word that the Lord Ram, that Lord is a person? That is a basic part of basic understanding of Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, the Lord, whenever he comes as incarnations, he proves that he is a personality of Godhead. But between one incarnation to another incarnation, again, this knowledge is lost. Because this world is full of envious people, and the envious mentality totally comes together to put anything that is in connection with the Lord will be slowly destroyed, and then it will disappear. Then again he comes to establish. And the best thing is, the best and the complete knowledge is to know that he is the supreme person. Although when Lord Rama was there, he took the whole all the inhabitants of Ayodhya with him. All of them entered into Sarayu and disappeared within the. They all, there was no even material bodies left. So Krishna comes for that purpose only, but because of the material nature's influence, it gets lost, and then first lost is the personal form of the Lord, then impersonalism comes, then that also goes, then atheism comes, then he comes again to establish this dharma.
Oh, okay, Mataji. So the impersonalist, the idea grows more. So he wants to make sure that he's a person.
Yeah, that he's explaining in the 4th chapter.
Okay, Mataji, that makes sense. And the part you mentioned, Mataji, that was so nice, that when a president visits a prison and he says to the people, behave good, do good, and come back to the world. And like even the president says, like, that's a good government, you'll be taken care of. So same way you mentioned that we are in a jail of material world and Krishna visits like a president. That was very sensible, and it was so matching to the topic, Mataji. That was very nice analogy, actually. So that was wonderful. And the final question, Mataji.
Yeah, 1 minute. This
Oh.
analogy is given by Srila Prabhupada, and his lectures are there online also. Like we are listening right every Friday. So nice. He gives analogy and examples for everything. Even his books are like that, but his lectures are even more like you're sitting with him and he's explaining to you. So yeah, that's how I learned, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Actually, we are reading the lectures daily. Me and Supriya Mataji, we are reading the Prabhupada's lectures daily morning.
Oh, very nice.
Yes, Mataji. So we completed up to 1.15, I think so. So we just started in this month, August 1st. Mataji, one final question, Mataji. When you mention so much of slokas throughout the Bhagavad Gita, the slokas itself, explanation itself is giving us a detailed idea of Lord. So when Arjun was listening to this from God directly, he should be having a very good idea. Then finally, even after listening so much, why did the Vishwarupa was needed? Because the sloga itself explains everything.
Yeah. So Arjuna, Srila Prabhupada explains that Arjuna is asking this to set an example. If anyone tells that I am God, then like how Arjuna asked, we are supposed to ask him, show your Vishwarupa. Because Krishna didn't say this just to flatter him. So he's proving that. So Arjuna very humbly he asks, you are the Supreme Lord, you said, can you please, if you think I can behold, can you please show? So this is like a precedent that is set. If God means, Arjuna asked to show that he has to show the universal form, past, present, and future, and everything in one place. Then he is called the Supreme Person, beyond whom there is nothing. Anadir, Adir, Govinda. He is a Supreme Person from whom everything comes. That's what he says, right? Aham sarvasya prabhavo, mattaha sarvam pravartate. Aham sarvasya prabhavo. I am the controller, Supreme Controller. From me comes everything. So since he said that in the 10th chapter, Arjuna is asking, can I please show that as a precedent, or if anyone is coming, then this is how we ask. And also, what Arjuna, then people shouldn't later say that anyway Arjuna was Krishna's friend. That is why he accepted whatever he said as true. Now that argument is also defeated here when Krishna shows the universal form. Who else has shown in their universal form? Nobody. None of the demigods also can do.
Yes, Mataji, that makes it a good point. So we have to be very careful, right? In the future, nobody can pretend to be a god.
Yeah.
So for the okay, so that proves Krishna is a supreme personality of Godhead. Only that Vishwarupa itself proves that he's a supreme personality of Godhead.
Yes.
Because when you come to Krishna consciousness in the beginning, Mataji, we always listen to the word, but we listen to it, we can understand the meaning, but we cannot realize it. Really takes time to realize, but if we understand Vishwarupa itself, we can realize that he is the supreme personality of God. That's it, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji. Such a wonderful class, and I understood so much. Thank you for all your answers and patiently replying. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji, for your wonderful questions. And very soon I can foresee that you will be taking these classes because your questions are so deep. And yeah, thank you, Mataji.
I'm a beginner, Mataji. I have to learn more from you. I should disturb you more. I think I have so much of questions.
Definitely.
Thank you, Mataji.
Because I am learning from your questions. So yeah, thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.
So is there any other questions?
Hare Krishna, Lalitangi Mataji. Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for such a beautiful class, Mataji. When you're explaining, it feels like there are no doubts. Of course, there are a million doubts actually in my head, but then when you're explaining, it all seems so clear. So one question is, when the Lord has so many, sorry, can I ask a question, Mataji?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So the Lord has his energies completely manifested all over this world. But then why does he choose to stay as the Paramatma in each one of us? Because when we are talking about the Lord, and you said he has three aspects, he has the Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan feature. The Lord could stay as the Supreme Lord, like how we see in maybe say Christianity. Okay, so we have Jesus Christ, he is a personality, and then they have a God who is completely separate and not in each one of us, right? So why does he come in as the Paramatma also? Of course, it is his deep compassion maybe, but I don't know. Mataji, can you please explain?
Yeah, that is the thing, Mataji. It is deep compassion, and also there are two energies. The material energy, he is present as Brahman everywhere, even inside Andantarastu Paramanu Chayantarastam. In each and every atom, he is present. That is his inferior energy, and he is present there. And then in the superior energy, also in the heart, he is present as Paramatma in order to guide us. The inferior energy doesn't need to go back to Godhead. That is like manifested and unmanifested, and it keeps on going, material nature. But then the superior energy, the spirit souls who are drowned and lost in this ocean, need personal guidance to go to him back. So that personal guidance is given by his expansion or his form as Paramatma within the heart, and the spiritual master outside to guide us. So this is what I know, Mataji, but 13th chapter explains more about the concept of Paramatma.
Thank you so much, Mataji. So the Brahman aspect, even if it is not there, or is it present in each and every atom so that it can be manifest and unmanifest? Is that why it's present?
No. What I mentioned is the material energy is manifest and unmanifest in certain cyclic periods of time. Like we know how Brahma's lifetime, when Brahma is born, then everything is born. And Brahma passes away, then the whole planet goes again. The Brahma's planet and the thing that has sprouted from the navel goes back to him.
Correct. Yes.
So again, after that, when it is required in the next thing, he comes. So this material energy is manifested and unmanifested, and it cannot manifest and unmanifest without the presence of the Supreme Lord in every single atom of it. So that is Brahman. But in the spiritual, and then the material energy is not something that needs to go back to Krishna, because Krishna's world is completely spiritual and there is no matter there. Even the table speaks. I mean, here it's a combination of matter and spirit. There, everything is spirit. The stone speaks, the milk that feels, everything is spiritual there. So the material energy, there's no place for it in the spiritual world. But we are supposed to go there to the spiritual world. So he is present in this expansion as Paramatma, personally guiding us. That is the specific function of Paramatma that I could understand, which is distinct from Brahman.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. That does make sense, Mataji. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for the question.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Danvat Pranam. Thank you so much for the wonderful class. Mataji, I have one question. Like you mentioned, like from God, everything comes, like the remembrance. Like how can we draw a line? Like so, if everything is God, like what is my what is the role that I'm playing in day-to-day life? Maybe I'm not putting the question in the right way. How can we differentiate?
Yeah. So this remembrance and forgetfulness is especially with respect to the karma, the suffering and the enjoyment that we have in different places that he directs us to. So, a student can say that, Krishna says, from me comes remembrance. So why should I even study for the test? So if he wants me to remember, then he will give me. No, that's not it. Only when you read, within what you read, what you remember is his thing. But if you don't even read, then even if he's ready to give to remember, we are not using that thing. So the point is, in our day-to-day daily activities, whatever we are supposed to do as an endeavor for Nitya Karma and our life, we have to do it our utmost possible capacity. But even if we do it to our utmost possible capacity, we cannot achieve success with that, because there comes the line. So we do our best, and then we understand that whatever we get is the Lord's mercy, whatever the Lord has bestowed. That's why he says that do your work, don't expect the result. So because the result will not come anyway, you're not able to enjoy the result, don't be attached to not doing the work. That is the second statement. What is that? Karman eva dikaraste. You have a right only to perform duty. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Not to the fruits. Kadachana, never. Ma karma phala heturbur. So because you will not be able to enjoy the fruit, don't get attached to not doing the duty. Mate sangos tava karmani. So he says, even if I come, I am a liberated person. I am coming in my own internal energy. Still I do my work, because if I don't do, then everybody will follow me and the whole world will be in ruination. So always, that is the first 6 chapters. He stresses that do your whatever you're supposed to do, but in the knowledge of me. He didn't say to Arjuna that, okay, you sit, you become my Sarathi and I will fight for you. He said, I am your Sarathi and you fight. So that's why he says, Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha. So he gives us and we do. So this example my teacher gave me, like there is if a cow is tethered to a pole, the cow can go around in a particular, depending on the length of the rope, that much area of the grass the cow can access, not a bit more. Okay, so that is what is that. But if the cow doesn't do endeavor and sits in that place, will the grass come and fall in its mouth? No. He has the access to the grass, but he needs to get up and go and make the endeavor to chew the grass. So similarly, our endeavor is like that. So we, the other thing, the other side, what is that? Grass is greener on the other side. So what we do is, instead of leaving the grass which is in our area, we think about the grass that is outside the reach and keep, looking for it and endeavoring for it. How much ever you endeavor for it, it will not get. But use the endeavor, what you're supposed to do to get what is in your capacity. And how do we know that? That Paramatma guides us. So if I want to buy a house like Trump, a mansion with so many millions of dollars, a person can have that ambition, but he should see whether it is feasible or not. So like that way, that's why, that's called over endeavoring. We do things that is according to our material status and do it in such a way as an offering to the Lord. But if we don't endeavor, that displeases the Lord. That's why he again and again says in the Karma Yoga, do your prescribed duties. If you don't do, then you incur sin for not doing it. Is that clear, Prabhuji?
Yes, Mataji. Yes, Mataji. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, Mataji.
Mataji, a small question, Mataji, in addition to the Prabhuji's question. Mataji, Prabhuji was talking about remembrance. So I just had a question on forgetfulness, Mataji. So while we may remember something which happened so many years before and we'll be lamenting for it, we're very sad, and we can never forget it. We may try so many attempts at something or all, we go to psychiatrist, but we can forget it. But once we get to Krishna conscious and very much attached and doing devotion to Krishna, we don't know when we forget it.
Exactly.
It goes away. So just now I'm asking, trying to understand, Mataji. So is that forgetful is what Krishna is mentioning? That which is unwanted, which is taking us away from Krishna, he will take away that?
Yes.
Okay.
That is also part of it. But here what mainly he's telling is, he makes us forget the previous lives. Otherwise it will be a
previous lives Previous lives means, Mataji, anyway we don't remember previous life.
That's his mercy. He makes us forget. Because if we remember the previous life, it is a chaos in life.
Oh, okay. So already we don't remember previous life because of the forgetfulness by Krishna. And
Yes.
in this life, if there is a misery and we are forgetting it after coming to Krishna, that is also given by him, like any
Yes.
forgetfulness.
Yes, Mataji, very much. I remember a story that was told by Hanumat Prashad Maharaj in Atlanta Rath Yatra, I think 2 years back. So he was taking his favorite book is Nectar of Instruction. And he said this live example that how there was a girl who had some weird behavior when she would see flowing water, not always but sometimes. For example, when the parents and the girl has gone to a restaurant and the waiter comes and pour water or keep water, and suddenly what happens is she opens the water and she pours it all over on the table, and at that point of time she behaves, I mean, weird, and then she would come back. So the parents have watched her behavior like this in with respect to the flowing water many times. That has happened. So they took her to a hypnotist, and the hypnotist, through the hypnotic regression, he made her go, I think, I don't remember exactly, it was previous life or previous to previous life. And because these remembrances are there, and Krishna doesn't want to make us remember for a purpose, but then if we want and if we try and do this, so that person got this girl to two lives or one life before, when she was, I think, she was a orphan, or her mother had left her with her aunt, and her aunt was boiling water in the kitchen, and she had an accident with that boiling water at that point of time. Exactly what happened, he got her to the hypnotic regression to that point, that place where she had some problem with the water. But at that time he got a phone call. He took the phone and he couldn't bring her back into this life. So it was a total mess, and she couldn't come back also, and she was in that, already that's a traumatic experience. She was left there, and Maharaj said that after a few months or few days she passed away. They couldn't bring her back. So why Maharaj told the story was, such impressions from many lifetimes also will be erased by the chanting of the holy names of the Lord, especially Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, takes away many such impressions that we don't know why they are troubling us, from where. We don't know, but that troublesome impressions and experiences which are hindering is taken away by the mercy of the Lord. That is why this is not an ordinary mantra. And that is why this mantra was kept as a guhyam, as a secret in the Vedas, until Krishna himself came. Nobody else had the authority to open and give this to others like this. But until Krishna himself came, he opened that and he gave it to others. So we are chanting, but we don't know how much the chanting is relieving us, from what all levels it is relieving us. So as you say, it is true that this is something that supports your experience of Krishna, makes you forget things that is bothering you and that is hindering you to perform devotional service.
Yes, Mataji, that was a chilling experience story. But still, now we can understand the forgetful of a past life is the greatest mercy of Krishna. Because what we will do if we remember all those things? So it's a
Right.
greatest mercy of Krishna. Yes,
Yeah.
Mataji, now it's clear. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you so much, Lalitangi Radha Mataji. And thanks to everyone who joined today. If anyone else does anyone else have any question? Okay, so thank you again for your association and thanks for listening to this very, very wonderful talk. So we'll end here. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank
you
you
for your
so much,
time and
Mataji.
efforts.
Thank you.
Yeah, for this opportunity and for helping in everything. And thank you all, dear devotees. I'm really indebted to you for I'm just sharing whatever I know, but then I'm learning every time I share. So thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, Mataji, and all the devotees. We can end the call. Thank you. Please join us next week, and we will be touching upon the next subject matter, that is Jiva from the Bhagavad Gita, the relevant verses, and how the position of the soul is established in the Bhagavad Gita. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhishya kripa siddhanta pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo
Namo Namah.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna
Hare
Prabhupada.
Krishna, thank
Ki
you.
Jai.
Jai.
Hare Krishna.